few miles south of Porterville, in the foothills of the California Sierra, Johnny Escueda sat silently in the shadows of a scrub oak thicket, astride a dun horse he'd ridden to near exhaustion. From the darkness he watched a farmhouse and the man in overalls who worked there slopping his hogs. But what had attracted him was the fine buckskin horse in the corral. He had to have that horse, and food. Johnny dismounted, removed his belt and holster, and hung it on the saddle horn, then placed his long knife and revolver in his pants at the small of his back. Johnny brushed off his trail-worn canvas pants and ran splayed fingers through his stringy hair. The farmer finished with his hogs and walked into his barn. Crossing the 50 yards from thicket to barn, Johnny paused at the door and eyed the house to make sure no one saw, then checked the revolver at his back. He shoved the big door open and entered the dark, musty building. The farmer was at the rear, pitching hay into a horse stall. He eyed the rough stranger and spoke. "Howdy." Johnny nodded. "Just passing by. You got any water?" The farmer held the fork casually at his side. "Didn't you see the well?" Johnny shook his head, at the same time reaching to the small of his back. He had hoped to use the silent knife, but the farmer was too far, and had pitchfork in hand. Johnny jerked the revolver and fired. The farmer took the big slug dead center in the chest, but Henry Pickett was a man of the West. He'd come to California across great hostile plains and rugged mountains. He was blown back into the stall rails, but bounced off and flung the pitchfork. Johnny thought he had been hit, but it merely pinned his pants leg to the barn door. Pickett lunged forward, blood gushing from mouth and nose. Johnny leveled the gun and fired again. This time the slug drove Pickett to the dirt. He jerked spasmodically, then stilled. Mrs. Pickett had been doing her housework, but with the report of the shot hurried to the back porch and called tentatively, "Henry?" Johnny moved to the door and waited where its opening would hide him. He could hear the woman's running footsteps. The barn door swung aside. "Henry, what?" She stepped in and viewed her husband in a growing pool of blood. "Oh, As Mrs. Pickett brought a white-knuckled fist to her mouth, Johnny lunged forward, grabbing her from behind, flinging her to the ground. She gave one desperate cry, then Johnny smashed the revolver across her head, and she, too, stilled. He threw up her skirt, not bothering to remove the cotton drawers that modestly covered her from waist to knees, and ripped them away. She awoke, seeing the pock-marked face of the half-breed over her, pleasuring himself, and screamed. This time he struck her repeatedly with the heavy revolver. He finished, rose, and buttoned up his pants. Johnny kept the revolver in hand as he approached the house. He entered the back door, then jumped as the door Mr. Pickett had rigged with a weight to keep the flies out of Mrs. Pickett's kitchen slammed behind him. Two framed silhouettes of children on the kitchen wall over the table stared in reproachful silence. Had it been another time, in the Arizona desert, Johnny would have awaited the children, taken them, and raised them in the Apache way, a way he thought far superior to the white man's. A sampler hung on the side of the silhouettes. Johnny could barely read, so he ran his hands over the stitched letters as he sounded them out. Home, sweet home. Peace on earth. Both were subject he had little knowledge of. He quickly filled a flour sack with food from the cooler cabinet. Next to it stood a pie safe. He opened it and removed the last apple pie Mrs. Pickett would ever bake. He sat at the table and ate half of it, using his long knife for a fork. By the time the children walked the 5 miles from school, Johnny was well on his way to Bakersfield astride the Pickett's buckskin gelding. The children enjoyed a piece of the pie their mother must have left out for them before they went to the barn looking for her. Bakersfield City Marshal Ned Cody sat in his swivel-back oak chair, long legs perched on his desk, and read the telegram he'd just received. Sheriff Howard, Marshal Cody. John Escueda said heading your way. Stop. Last seen riding bay with 3 white stockings. Stop. Known to have killed 6 men, our county. Stop. Please detain. Stop. I will arrive 7.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?